Dealing with bowed studs when you're installing cabinets can be a huge pain, guys. It makes it really difficult to get them plumb, level, and square. So today we're going to show you how we dealt with a bowed stud in a wall where we were installing a vanity. We're going to show you how we worked around it. We're also going to talk to you a little bit about, for your new building projects, how you can prevent having to deal with these bowed studs with a few quality checks, a few simple techniques you can use. So let's take a look.
So what causes this? Well, basically wood has a moisture content to it, and these studs, as they dry out from time or from the heat being turned on in the house, they start to dry out and they shrink. And when they shrink, sometimes they shrink at differing rates, which can cause them to bow or twist. So here's a look at the bowed stud, guys. You can see the wall comes out at the middle of the vanity there. So the bow in the wall measures about 3/8 of an inch at either end of the vanity top. We have two options for dealing with this, guys. One, we can cut the wall open and fix the stud, which is going to be really ugly and require major surgery. The other, less invasive method for correcting this issue is just to basically cut the drywall and remove that thickness of drywall right where our vanity top overhangs at the back of our vanity. So we mark the location of the vanity top overhang and we cut that drywall out, remove it, and what that's going to allow the vanity top to do is slide in closer to the stud, and then it'll touch at the ends of where we had 3/8 of an inch gap before. Now it's going to be flush. So instead of looking like this, guys, with the gap between the vanity top and the wall, we look like this, where it's nice and flush with the tile in the wall. So how do we prevent bowed studs in our new construction projects? Let's take a look at a couple quality inspections you can perform at the frame stage to prevent bowed studs.
I like to take a 6-foot level and run it along the wall to make sure none of them stick out, and we're going to have a bow in the wall. We don't want any pregnant walls. The other thing that I like to do is I like to take my 6-foot level and check all of my studs to make sure that they're plumb. We want to make sure these things are straight now before we cover them up.
So what happens if we go through our frame check and we find some bowed studs? Well, the easiest thing to do is to remove the stud if you haven't run any mechanicals through there yet, any plumbing or wiring. If you've already run electrical through them or plumbing, the easiest thing to do is to notch the affected studs and then put another 2x4 brace across them and push them back into place so that they're nice and straight. This way you don't have to have your electrician and plumber back to pull the wiring and plumbing out and put it back after the studs are removed. So as you can see here, we've done the bracing and it's much easier and it looks good and nice and straight.
So a couple other tips, guys, for keeping your bowed studs to a minimum on your new construction projects would be, first, whenever you deliver lumber, make sure that it's kept in a dry place. You don't want it subjected to rain and you don't want it on the ground. It'll wick moisture up from the ground. So we don't want any more moisture going into that lumber than already is in there. The other thing you want to do is talk to your roof carpenter. Make sure they take any bowed studs they come across and make a separate pile for those. That way they don't get mixed in with the walls that are being built, and you can send them back to your supplier for a refund. The last thing you want to do is make sure you take your 6-foot level and check for bowed studs right after the rough carpenters finish framing the house, and then one more time just before you hang drywall. It's going to be much easier to take care of those before you conceal the wall with drywall, so do it at that time.